Good morning. I've been grading papers this morning and got interested in reading all of your comments about phobias, and I thought I'd talk about them for a couple of minutes. Your discussions were really interesting. I particularly liked Sam Rubio, and Sam, I'm mentioning your name because yours was a classic. I just sat here and giggled, and as I did so, it had to do with somebody's fear of cats, and mine jumped into my lap. And I got interrupted by the phone ringing, so I had to start over again. But I was going to show you Rose, who loves to be part of these conversations that I have with you, those of you who watch. But I wanted to talk about phobias for a minute. Phobias are learned behavior. And the interesting thing about learned behavior is that it can be changed. You can't change genetic behavior, the things that you get through nurture so much. But on phobias, it takes a lot of work sometimes, but they can be taken care of. I know that my love of snakes, I hate snakes. I can't even touch the paper that they're on. I do not intend to get over that phobia. I refuse to work on it. I will not hold a snake, love a snake, take care of a snake, have anything to do with a snake. So I'm just telling you that I think many people feel the same way about their phobia. They're content with it and they intend to keep it. I remember a guy in my abnormal psych class at San Francisco State who had his best friend was his boa constrictor, and it was a weird class. They belonged in abnormal psych. But anyway, when he would come home, the snake would greet him at the door, and it slept with him, and lucky for him, he was never snake dinner. But anyway, there are people who have their phobias in opposite directions also. There are a couple of people, though, that you should know about. Probably Bandura, who was from Stanford, just retired a couple of years ago. Very famous psychologist, did a whole lot of really interesting studies on many things, but one of them was on phobias, he and Dreikers. And those two believed in systematic desensitization. And you have one video that you have seen where you saw a woman with agoraphobia who was being led down some stairs. And that's what desensitization is all about, and you have to make it systematic. You do it again and again and again until the person gets over their phobia. And in the case of Bandura, one of his famous studies was with a dating one, where people who were too shy to ask anybody ever to go out on a date. So they had a whole bank of phones at Stanford, and they had all of these young people in there using the phones, practicing on their phone techniques of actually calling somebody and asking them to go out on a date. And over again until finally they were able to conquer that fear and call somebody in actuality and ask them out on a date. So as I tell you that, many people have phobias. The question is, are they worth the time to overcome extreme depression and anxiety that can be caused by those phobias? If they're like my one with the snake, who cares? My plan is to carry a tennis racket and whack them with it. But you just have to, and that's an unrealistic thing too, as my husband points out so nicely. But you need to think about how important is it? How badly is it affecting the person's quality of life? And that's when you decide what you're going to work on and what you're not. Can they lead to mental illness? Anything that you overdo and no longer have moderation on or can control that behavior can be serious enough to affect the quality of your life, and then it becomes a problem that you work on, and phobias certainly fall in that line. I just want to comment about your work in general. I can't believe the quality of work that you're turning in. I mean, you just, the change in your writing since the beginning of the semester till now is tremendous, and it's just excellent. And as I say that, I'm just finishing up the papers for today, and I've really enjoyed a lot of your thinking and what you've observed and read. Don't forget your term papers are coming up. They're going to be due soon, and I don't accept them late, so don't come up with excuses. Just do them now and get them over with. You can send them to me whenever you want. Do not send me attachments for term papers. No attachments. I won't take them. I'll have you redo it. You can copy and paste. You can do it as the document that I asked for, the RTF document, and put it on there, and I'll be more than glad to read them, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all.